the surefire way to change your life. I mean, not even just change your life, but the life of your future generations is to change your social circle. So, I want to talk about that today because that often comes with many negative connotations. So, I want to talk about the power of changing your social circle and little ways for you to start doing that right now. Stick with me. Hey guys, I wanted to do a little bit of a follow up from my very last video. Was it my last video? Maybe the video before last, where I talked about changing your life, leveling up, etc., etc. And this would go very well with that specific video because this one is all about changing your social circle. For those who do not know, I have been in the coaching space for 16 years. And I have worked actively with people who are making more money and want to completely change their life. And something that I think is a misconception is that when you start making money, you automatically change your social circle. But there are people who we can see it all over social media. They are making money. They may even be making millions, and they have the same social circle that I wouldn't even be seen with. It is really important for you to recognize that your social circle can make or break your future. So you can start making money and you'll wonder why you're not invited into certain rooms. You're wondering why you don't have certain opportunities. And a lot of that is attached to the people you are around, the people you surround yourself around. And often the people you surround yourself not only can look bad on you, but if you surround yourself with the quote unquote, and I really hate this term, but the quote unquote right people, they can speak your name in rooms that you never even knew your name could be spoken in. They can introduce you to the right person that completely changed your life, or a set of people. You can end up with opportunities you never would have had because they are people who are on the level or have opportunities that you may not have ever had. And so, just as amazing as that is, if you are hanging out and you're being around people who maybe bring you down, unfortunately, that can have an adverse reaction on you. Now, I'm going to tell you who I want to use as an example here, and this is right off the cuff. So if I say any of the information, this is just from my vague memory of it. But I want to talk about the rapper Eve from Philly. Yes, the rapper that was with DMX, who has the paws on her chest. I want to talk about Eve, the one who used to have a TV show, and Keisha Cole. So they both were in the music industry. And at one point, they were really, really good friends. And as Eve went on in her career, and it's worth pausing to say, Eve was very rough around the edges. Yeah, she was making money. She had a career, but she would be invited into certain music circles that fit that. But there are other rooms she never would have been invited to. So she knew she needed to change her life. And you could actually see the progression of Eve. If you go back and start paying attention through the years, you can see Eve's progression. Who Eve is today is not who Eve used to be. Now, you can blame that on age, but how many people do you know that you can talk about them in their 40s and they are still as messy and obnoxious and trifling, blah, 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 as they were in their 20s? It is so many. It is so many. And so age has nothing to do with your personal growth that you choose to go on through life. So she was really good friends with Keisha Cole, who of course is a artist as well, just a lot more ratchet, or they were probably the same ratchet. Keisha stayed ratchet. And so there was this story that was out that they went to the club together. And I guess it was a fan just kind of being aggressive with Eve. And though Keisha was taking up for Eve, she slapped the fan. She put her paws on the fan. And from that moment on, Eve did not have anything to do with Keisha Cole, at least not publicly. We have not seen them together since then. Now, why do you think that is? I just want you to pause it right now and ask yourself, why do you think two people who are wealthy, successful, known, why would one be like, you know what? I can't do this? Because your reputation is really all that you have. And as you are working to get into different rooms with different opportunities and up level, you cannot hold on to people who are not moving forward with growth themselves. And so she chose to say goodbye to Keisha. And Keisha is doing, and this is no dig on Love and Hip Hop, but there's a certain type of person that's on those shows versus Eve, who was on The View and has gone on to marry Maximilian, who's worth, it's several millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. People have said billionaire. She said that was not true. But hundreds of millions from what my research has shown me. And she has gone on to completely change her life. She went on to completely up level. You have to be willing to cut off those dead ends. I know we've heard with our hair, we cut off our dead ends, our hair grows quicker. When you cut off your dead ends, you will grow quicker. And so I wanted to use her as an example because if you want to change your future and the future of your children, or maybe you're too quote unquote late for that, which I don't think you're ever late, but your children's children and their children of your lineage, you need to start leveling up now. You need to do this through changing your social circle. Now, changing your social circle, again, has been called level up. And I don't use it as level up often, only because what I have personally found, and I mentioned this on Facebook and TikTok earlier today, what I have found is that often the level up community is actually spoken about and talked about by people who are not in that other community themselves. And they are poverty signaling, not wealth signaling. And I don't think it's necessarily on purpose, but I think we can only teach from where we are. Right. And there's always another level. There's another level for me. There's always another level to this thing. And they can only teach from where they are. And so I don't particularly like talking about it as leveling up. And also when you talk about it as leveling up, people also think it has more to do with getting a man. And, I'm here for marriage. I am here for all those things. We know that about me. I do not bite my tongue about it. People feel away. Like, listen, go do you, boo. I love it. But this is about you being this person who is in a different social environment, social class, getting invited to dinners, knowing the difference between black tie and white tie, knowing what to wear, what not to wear, knowing, we talked about etiquette in that video that I did before, knowing what to do when, knowing what it looks like, what etiquette is going to someone's home for the first time. I went to a Seder the other night, and even though I asked, what should I bring? And I was told nothing. I went and bought an orchid and I took a plant. I wanted to stay away from food just in case it wasn't kosher. I was being very respectful in that way, but I took the orchid. You need to know what is etiquette. Thank you cards are not out. These are just little small things. So when you're looking to really change your life, this level up, is one of the main ways to do it. And not even one of the main ways, is the main way. As mentioned, you can make millions of dollars and you will find doors shut in your face. You will find yourself not invited into certain rooms because money alone will not change your social status or your social class. The way that begins to change combines the things I spoke about in that video about the level up, how to up level your life, and getting in rooms and communities where that social class that you desire to intertwine and intermingle with exists. Now, a note here that I really need you to know is that depending on what that community is that you're looking to move into, the door is not that easily opened. You need to know that. You may be going to certain events and going to different things for a year or two before someone invites you to this private party that happens every year that you had no idea about. Partly because so many people are social climbers. Now, I want to talk about that for a moment because this is a type of social climbing. I think that we talk about it in such a negative way because social climbing is seen as wanting to change your class, wanting to change your status by any means necessary, even if it means using other people. And I think that is the difference between what I am talking about and what that negative connotation of social climbing is. Because one of the key things is you finding what your true interests are and starting to participate in these different things, going to these different events and meetings, et cetera, and you really being interested in it. Now, you absolutely are going knowing that you want to change our community and get new friends that's interested in these things. That is absolutely a reason that you're going, but you actually really enjoy the conversations that's being had there. You actually enjoy what's being done there. That is something that you are just like thriving in. So though you want to meet new friends, though you want to connect with people, you're not going here just for that. That is really important because that also means you will show up way more genuine than you would if this is something you're not really interested in. So if you're not interested in the equestrian community and you're pretending to be, it's going to be really difficult for you to have a conversation with other people that's within the equestrian community. So even if you're new to it, be willing to go to these things and say, this is something I've been interested in all my life. And so I'm learning about it. Being honest in that way, people find more endearing. And when you go to it that way, people are also more open to inviting you into their circle. You're not going in pretending you have it all together. You're going in knowing what you know and then saying, but I'm so interested to go deeper. This is the first time in my life that I've had the opportunity, the time in order to do this. A completely different thing than you going in knowing good and doggone well you don't care about horses. Right? You guys see the difference there. And so it may take people, like I said, if we are talking about old money community, if you're talking about certain types of community, it might take you a while to get in. And if you're not genuinely interested in what you're going to, the classes you're going to, you're not genuinely interested and you're starting to love like the tennis community and the golf community, it's going to be difficult for you to stick in it long enough to really get into those social circles. Ways in which shifting your social circle can be beneficial to you. Number one, you are with people who are having the conversations you enjoy. One of the things that I realized I personally outgrew was gossip. Um, you know, I have friends that I've had all my life and they are still my friends, but you can be friends you talk every now and then, right? They're just not a part of my everyday life and everyday social circle. Part of that is because I don't want you to call me to talk about someone. I don't want to do that. Sorry. Like we can kiki about your life. We can kiki unless we're having a conversation that's helping someone. Like if you call me to say something about someone and we need to do an intervention, completely different conversation. But we are not just sitting up kikiing about anybody else because that's not what my time is best spent on. Other things, if you are, so like I said, this is not about meeting a partner, but if you are a woman you're looking for a husband of a certain socioeconomic class, one thing that a lot of people will not tell you is that dating within a new socioeconomic class, there needs to be an interest there. People date within their communities. So this is a part of the way that also when you're in the community, you can meet people. But let me also tell you, there is no better way to meet someone than meeting girlfriends in these communities who's like, you're single. The number of times I have been introduced to football players and politicians and things of that nature because someone else was like, oh my God, I know someone who will love you, that sort of thing. That is the best way for you to get in. And because Rosie I don't know her name. We don't make up something because Rosie invited you to her dinner party that she knew such and such was going to be there and made sure your place card sat you next to this person. You're already in the end because you were invited to this dinner party. Hope that makes sense to you. So a lot of that testing to see if you are the right kind of person to be in the community and to date and those sorts of things, you kind of skipped some steps there because of course you are, you're invited in. Let me tell you something that I probably shouldn't say on video. I said it when it first came out, but I love Anna Delvey. Let me tell you why though. I love Anna Delvey. What did she say? I can't even think. My son and I, we play around with one of the quotes she said. I can't even think of it right now. But I follow Anna Delvey from the time the case started, way before it was a TV show. And one of the main things that I loved is that Anna Delvey came from nothing, really. She came from nothing. She was an immigrant. And Anna learned the way to be in the class, the social class she wanted to be in. Now, we are going to put all the rest of it to the side, the she didn't pay, the hotel. We're going to put all those other things to the side. She studied enough to get in because she knew where to go, the conversations to have, and she knew the basic etiquette pieces. She knew not to go in carrying like bags with designer logos all over it. Having the conversations that I see had on social media, they're quite hilarious to me because that's actually more middle class signaling than wealth signaling. And it's not even a quiet luxury conversation by any means. It's just like in general, it's tacky. It's tacky. It's just tacky. And it's not like, oh my God, would you wear that? Like I literally remember being like 11, hearing someone, maybe 14, like high school, early high school, hearing someone, oh my God, you have logos. So this isn't even a new conversation. These are things that are like known. And so I love that Anna Delvey was able to come to the United States, make a decision that this is what she wanted to do. And, this is neither here nor there. I do think that if she got the money, she would have built this social club, partly because I think the point was to push her into a different social status. But that is why I like Anna Delvey. I like from the bottom up kind of person. You were able to bring yourself out of this. But this is what you have to think about. So to change social classes, you need to change what you like to do socially. Do all the things I mentioned in video one. I'm calling it video one. It was 2 videos ago called how to level up. I probably said up level because I don't really use level up or something like that 2 videos ago. Do the things over there. Then I want you to think about what are the things that you are interested in that are more aligned to whatever the class you would like to shift to. If it's like an extremely wealthy class, then you need to find out what are the events, what are the sports events, where are the country clubs, is there a drop-in fee, and do you have to pay like for the full year? If so, what needs to be done? Like finding out all the information, it's a little bit of research that needs to be done. I love the equestrian community. I've always loved the equestrian community. And one of my old clients' daughter actually was a huge part of the equestrian community and is supposed to be going to the next Olympics with her horse. And so just getting into these different rooms, having these different conversations, connecting with people, and then just being honest and say, hey, I'm new to it. I love the equestrian community. I'm just able to get here. Again, people may be slow to welcome you in, but the more they see you and the more they see how genuine and authentic you are, the quicker you will be welcomed into the social circle. My last thought on this is don't let anyone discourage you from changing your social circle and your social class. We kiki a lot about Nepo babies. We kiki a lot about opportunities that's given to people that we feel like they don't necessarily deserve. And I think I say this often, we're upset, really not because it was given to them, but because we don't have the same access. The access comes from you knowing how to network, knowing how to get in the right rooms. This is something that I've used to open up opportunities for my own son. Internships, law internships, and my son is going into his senior year in high school. So anybody can be open to these opportunities by you deciding you are not going to hang out and be around people who don't have anything going for themselves by any means. By you deciding what you want in life and then hanging with people that align with what that bigger desire is for you. That is extremely important. It's I'm gonna use the example of like if you were a real estate agent. I see this mistake so much with people. I said that was my last thought. Okay, this is my last thought. I see this mistake with people so much is they say you want to start selling real estate and you would love to sell high-end real estate, but you don't have that. So you don't have a high-end social circle. What do you do? Well, first of all, sell where you are. Let's start there. But if you know this is something you desire, people with a certain amount of wealth, they're not moved by a Facebook ad. They're not moved about you just posting on social media, having an Instagram page. They're not moved by that. They're moved by referrals. Despite what you've been told, referrals are still king within certain communities. And I see this over and over and over and over and over again. People on social media saying they talk to the top 1%. And I'm on Facebook like, well, what the hell are you doing over here trying to sell your blah, blah. This is not where that, and even if they're on Facebook, they're not looking for you. They're going to ask their friend. They're going to look within their social club. They'll go to the Botanical Gardens meetup and they're going to say, I'm looking for blah, 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 just in conversation. This about changing your social circle will literally change your life and business today and then those future generations tomorrow, because then they're raised in a new social circle. So their friends are in that social circle, and then that's how your life continues to go on. One thing that I've heard works over and over, not even I heard, I know works over and over. I didn't know about it at the time. It is sending your child to the right private or boarding schools, right? Sending your child to the right, where the kids of princes, where the kids of kings and queens go. Think about the other children that's there, and they're raised up basically with friends from their schools, and this is how doors get open for them. Later on, you're going to call your friend from grade school who just happens to be, you know, the senator or blah, 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 and you're in their district or, you know, whatever. This is how you change not just your life, but your kids' lives. So like for me, by the time I got the information, it was a little bit too late to do that. And so I actually kind of grew up in an upper middle class community, definitely not wealthy, but I will say an upper middle class community is what I grew up with. Most of my friends, unless they were from me being really little, my really little friends' parents were doctors, nurses, paralegals, like those sorts of things. But by the time I got in high school, my friends' parents, you know, own 15 Chevy dealerships, like those sorts, like those sorts of things. So my social circle was always kind of mixed like that. And then I got to a point as I got older where I recognized I needed to continue meeting and being in those sorts of circles. So when I left my hometown, I lost the connections, I still have them, but it's not like I can hang out with them weekly at the club, and I don't mean the club like the party club, but like the social club, because they weren't in my city. And so I kind of fell off of what I know to naturally do in the rooms I know to naturally be in. And so when I got here to Georgia, I had to really get myself back into that. Hence how I was able to meet people that then opens doors for my son moving forward and me moving forward, et cetera, et cetera. And all genuine people I actually really love and like hanging out with. So again, the key here is not just what can you do for me? It's we really gotta like each other. And how can I assist? It's not just like a one way, it's being there, supportive, really being a friend to people. But that is how you start to change your social circle. And don't try to go too fast. Again, because people are often who are you? You're a stranger, you're new, no one referred you here, you just kind of showed up. They're gonna watch you for a while. A lot of people feel put off by that. It's normal. And I think partly because I do people like that. I'm going to sit in the corner and observe, especially with new people. Who are you? What do you want? It's normal. So just be open to that. Know that, people be friendly, but that you won't necessarily have you in the inner circle. And people will ask you. The most awkward question is, so where did you come from? What they're really saying is, who are you and what are you doing here? Let me just translate that for you. It can be awkward, especially if you're in a room that you are one of maybe one or two people of color. Let me also add that. If that is the case, that may not be your case. If that's the case, that may be the thing. I have been asked that before. And typically I laugh. And usually because I laugh and the laugh seems so awkward, I will break the ice and say, are you trying to figure out what I'm doing here? Like what I'm doing in the room? And we both can laugh about it. And then they'll say, well, just because I haven't seen you. And then we can move forward and have a conversation. What people often do is get insulted when they're questioned. Why are you questioning me? Oh my God, these people are acting like this. You're an outsider coming into a community where people are actually quite closed off. Let me tell you what is a great, and a lot of people don't see this movie this way. It's the movie. What is the name of the movie? Okay, I can't think of it right now. As I edit this, I will put it on the screen. Hopefully I remember like at what point I put this. But it is a movie that is all about this guy from middle class. He went to a private university on scholarship. So like people knew he was on scholarship. So he was the poor person, but he was middle class, but poor. Like there are levels to it. Like middle class is poor. People will even tell you it's not any middle class anymore, right? But there are levels even to poverty, right? And so he wanted to befriend a specific guy who invited him to, it was just like the weirdest movie. In the end, he didn't kill everybody in the movie. Not only did he kill everybody in the movie, he made sure he was left the home, the property, the money, the everything. And it's funny because I was listening to this girl who comes from extreme amounts of wealth. And she said that to everyone else, they're just like, oh my God, this is weird. But to people who come from extreme amount of wealth, what that said to them is, this is why you don't let outsiders in. People want to come and take it. People want what you have. That tends to be a little bit of the energy, which is why people are like, who are you? Where did you come from? Kind of thing. Okay. So I just wanted to warn you on that. I'm getting it. Like I said, I'll put it on the screen. I just watched it recently. But that tends to be it. And you get it. If you had a large amount of wealth, let's be clear, people show up and they want what you have. It's just what it is. It's why people win the lottery and they end up giving it all, like family and friends and cousins that they've never even met shows up out the woodworks. These are the things that really do happen. So instead of being insulted by it, understand why it's like that. And then it allow you to address the situation in a completely different way. I pray this was helpful for you. And you continue on your journey, getting in new rooms, elevating your life, elevating your experiences. It's why some of those things I mentioned in the video a couple videos ago, a couple weeks ago, I talked about the etiquette classes and going to the symphony and art. These are things that if you're looking to get into a certain type of community, that's going to come up. You need to know things, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, I'm going to hush. Hope this was helpful. I'd love to hear any thoughts you had that came up in the video. Put it below in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.